Things Will Be Different is a low-budget sci-fi mystery thriller, and it is the feature film debut for writer-director Michael Felker. I've got some thoughts about it. Let's get into it. Welcome back to The Haunted Beard, everybody. Once again, my name is Jake. Thank you so much for joining me. And if you're new around here, welcome. It's all horror and thriller movie content on The Haunted Beard. Thanks for joining me. So, Things Will Be Different, as I said, is a sci-fi mystery thriller. This film was also produced by Justin Benson and Aaron Moorhead, some of the more interesting writer-directors working in horror today. And this film tells the story of two siblings who are trying to escape the police after a robbery. They take refuge and lay low in this farmhouse that hides them away in a different time. There they must reckon with a mysterious force that pushes their familial bonds to unnatural breaking points. And overall, there's quite a bit I enjoyed about Things Will Be Different. First and foremost, being that this is the feature film debut for the writer-director, I think this is a pretty impressive first-time effort. I think there's a lot to appreciate here, as Felker here has a very clear vision in terms of what he's trying to accomplish and how he's trying to accomplish it. This is a sci-fi mystery that messes around with time, and I won't get into any more specifics as far as how exactly it does that. But given the fact that this is a very limited budget film, I feel like it does more with less. And I feel like with this film, that lower budget birthed some creativity and some interesting ideas, where this is a film, because of that lower budget, it doesn't get the opportunity to kind of over-explain or over-show things, which I think is a good thing. It creates a more mysterious type of story, and it creates a more intriguing type of story as well, because not everything is, again, explicitly shown or laid out extremely clear. Nothing is spoon-fed to you. It's presented in such a way to where there is that mysterious type element to it. I like that the film kind of has its own internal logic, and I like the way that kind of the rule and this space and time that these characters occupy. I just like how it's all structured. It felt creative, it felt unique, it felt fresh. And I think the make it or break it for this film is going to be the pacing. This is a slower paced film. It takes its time, it's patient. And I'm not just using the word patient to try to sugarcoat that, oh, it's really slow and dull and boring. It's patient and it's worth the wait. And that slower pacing is intentional. And so it's not really a criticism so much as part of kind of the atmosphere and some of the horror really of the situation has to do with these characters experiencing time in a certain way. And there is this almost, I don't know, existential type of dread to the whole thing as they're in this place. I wish there would have been maybe one more major plot point that I think would have given the film just a little bit of a boost of energy to kind of get through some of the little bit of slower parts. I never got bored. I never found myself like completely checking out or anything like that, but I could have used just a little bit more. I think it would have helped. This is more so a plot-driven film than a character-driven film. But given the fact that this is mainly all in one location, and for the most part, you only have two characters on screen, which is the brother and sister, Joe and Sid. Really, the main thing that we learn about Sid is that she is this mother who is trying to provide for her child. And the main thing we learn about Joe is that he's the brother who has a major regret in his past regarding Sid, his sister, that he's trying to find redemption. And so there's enough there that gets you connected, but I think it could have done a little bit better developing the characters. Now, as I mentioned a moment ago, this film is patient, which means it's worth the wait, as I found the ending and the final climax to be a pretty satisfying payoff. I found the last 20 minutes to be quite thrilling, very engaging, and I really enjoyed it. I think the payoff is well worth it. And I found the ending pretty shocking and pretty surprising. I did not predict it. I didn't see it coming. And it's a film that it left me thinking about it afterwards. Now, the thing is, when it comes to movies like this that kind of mess around with time, if you dig into it and think about it too much, you're probably going to find some logical inconsistencies and some plot holes. But I would say that's probably true with even the great kind of time travel sci-fi movies like Looper and 12 Monkeys and things like that, which I think are great. But that's the thing. You kind of get into that timed stuff and you're going to get into sort of paradox territory. So there are some things that you could probably say, that doesn't quite work. But again, we're in sci-fi territory, so it doesn't really bother me all that much. And for the most part, there was nothing that really egregiously stuck out. I really kind of bought into it. I felt like the film was consistent within its own internal structure and logic kind of thing. And there is some ambiguity to the ending, which I enjoy. I think it's the good type of ambiguity that leaves you thinking about it and not confused, but just trying to kind of go back and ponder how everything kind of comes together. So I enjoyed how the film ended. I think it's quite impressive for this being a feature film debut. I quite enjoyed it. I would definitely recommend you check this one out. If you're a fan of films like Time Crimes, any of Justin Benson and Aaron Moorhead's films, like The Endless and Resolution. In fact, in my last review, I talked about a movie called Coherence that I mentioned. If you like that film, if you're a fan of like The Twilight Zone, definitely check this one out. I think you'll probably have a good time with it. So I'm going to go 7.5 out of 10 for Things Will Be Different. And yeah, those are my thoughts. Like always, hit me up down in the comments below. Always interested in hearing your guys' thoughts and opinions. That's all I got for you. Thank you so much for watching. If you got anything out of this video, go ahead and do me a favor and do not click that subscribe button unless you want to be haunted by the beard.